Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the greatest detective stories in all of biology, the mystery of the eel. So let's get right into it. For, 2,000 years, a really simple question had no answer. Where do eels even come from? I mean, think about it. You see them in rivers and streams all over the world, but for centuries, nobody, and I mean literally nobody, had ever seen them mate or lay eggs. It was just a total blank. And we're not talking about some minor little puzzle here. This was a question that absolutely stumped some of the greatest minds in history for millennia. The theories were just wild. You had ancient Greeks like Aristotle, who basically said they just popped out of the mud, the entrails of the earth. Then you had Pliny the Elder suggesting they just rubbed against rocks to reproduce. And get this, even a young Sigmund Freud got in on the action. He spent a whole month dissecting over 400 eels, trying to find their reproductive organs, and found nothing. Everyone had a theory, and every single one was completely wrong. So you see, this wasn't just about an animal anymore. The eel became this international fish of mystery. It was a true biological enigma, and it just defied every attempt to explain it for literally hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay, let's jump forward to the 20th century. Because every great mystery needs a detective, right? Well, for this one, our detective was a Danish scientist named Johannes Schmidt. And he was the one who was finally going to crack this thing wide open. And when I say he was dedicated, I'm not kidding. This wasn't some weekend project for him. The guy basically dedicated his entire life to this hunt. He was crisscrossing the Atlantic Ocean back and forth on a research ship, all for one single, you could almost say obsessive mission: find out where these eels are born. 18 years. Think about that for a second. His main research expedition lasted 18 years. That is an absolutely incredible display of scientific persistence. Can you imagine? Nearly 2 decades out on the ocean, dealing with storms, all the logistical nightmares, just you against the vastness of the sea. And how did he do it? Well, he and his crew collected a truly staggering number of samples. We're talking more than 10,000 little eel larvae, scooped up and measured, one by one. It was tireless work, but it was all based on this one single brilliant idea. So here's the genius of it. Schmidt's whole idea was pretty simple, actually. He figured that the smaller the eel larvae he found, the younger they must be. And the younger they are, the closer he must be to where they were born. It was like following a trail of breadcrumbs, except these breadcrumbs were microscopic and scattered across the entire Atlantic Ocean. Each tiny larva he found was another clue, pulling him closer and closer to the source. And so, after all those years, all that searching, he starts to map it out. He plots the sizes of the larvae on a chart, and the trail, going from large to smaller to tiny, it all started pointing to one single mysterious spot right in the middle of the ocean. And the answer? It was the Sargasso Sea, a place that was kinda hidden in plain sight. I mean, what's so special about it? Well, get this. It's a sea without any coasts. It's the only sea in the world that's not defined by land, but by swirling ocean currents. And these currents create this vast, calm, warm mat of floating seaweed. It was, quite literally, the perfect nursery. And what's even more incredible is that this one spot isn't just the nursery for one type of eel. Oh no, it's the spawning ground for 2 completely distinct species, the European eel and the American eel. They're born together in the same place, then they catch different ocean currents that carry them thousands of miles to different continents. They live there for decades, and then they make that impossible journey all the way back to the exact same spot to have their own young. So you think, okay, mystery solved. But cracking the case of where they're born just opened up a whole new can of worms, or eels. It revealed another incredible story, their unbelievable life journey. Seriously, it's one of the most complex and bizarre life cycles in the entire animal kingdom. Just look at this transformation. First, they start out as these tiny, transparent, leaf-shaped things called leptocephalus, which is a mouthful. They just drift in the ocean for like 1 to 3 years. Then, as they get near the coast, they morph into these tiny, see-through glass eels. From there, they swim into freshwater rivers and get some color, becoming elvers. After that, they enter their long growth phase as yellow eels, living in our rivers for up to 20 years. And then finally, they go through one last change, turning into silver eels, ready for that epic one-way trip all the way back across the ocean to spawn and die. So it's this amazing story, right? A mystery thousands of years in the making finally solved. But here's the tragic twist. Just as we've finally pieced together their incredible past, the eel's future has become, well, dangerously uncertain. The truth is, today, these incredible creatures are facing a perfect storm of human-made threats. We've built dams that block their migration routes, there's massive overfishing, especially of the young glass eels, and now climate change is threatening to alter the very ocean currents they absolutely depend on to make their journey. On top of that, you've got pollution and habitat loss. It's just a constant assault.
And the impact, well, it's been devastating. We're not talking a small drop. For some eel populations, the decline is over 90%. 90. Let that sink in. A creature that has fascinated humanity for literally thousands of years, we're watching it vanish, right before our eyes.
Which leaves us with one last, really urgent question. We solved that ancient mystery of where eels are born, but can we solve the modern mystery of how to ensure their survival? The first puzzle took 2,000 years to figure out. This new one, well, it's a race against time, and it's a race we're in real danger of losing.